As a business owner, you have to make the right decisions and you have to make the best decisions. The number one level is always going to be you. You're the one who's going to either bring the business down or you're the one who's going to bring it up. Starting, I was literally like on 5 cups of coffee every single day. Sometimes I would be sleeping at 6 a.m., sometimes I would be going to bed at 1 a.m. I crashed out and burnt out at least 5 times in those 7-8 weeks. My energy would get zapped out of me. When we started, I was doing around 25k a month. The best thing is just the support from you guys, because even if things go wrong in the business, although you guys are health coaches, you guys are always there for like business consulting. My energy is just so good right now. Pretty much everything has improved, even the exercise. When we finally started working together, my business in January we did around like 55k in profit.
Rayan, let's start by giving us an introduction about what you do and who you are, pretty much.
Thank you, Manu. So my name is Ryan. I am 19 years old from Mumbai, India, and I run an influencer marketing agency purely designed to help and connect influencers and brands in the US and the UK. So 19 years old, we do about like 40 to 50k a month profit in the agency, and yep, I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now. Currently, I live in Mumbai, but I will also be like traveling Dubai and staying there for a few months, and then also yeah, mainly India, and I've grown up in India. So
Okay, pretty young, doing good numbers. That's good to hear. So I guess let's start by analyzing what your life and business looked like before starting to work together. And most importantly, what were you struggling with the most before starting to work together?
yeah, so before starting, I was literally like on 5 cups of coffee every single day. I was in that proper rut of just yeah, wake up, have my coffee, go to work. I was really determined to get my business off the ground. So, like around 2 to 3 months before I met you, I scaled my agency to around like 30k a month. But with that, there was just so many things that I was doing wrong along with that. Sometimes I would be sleeping at 6 a.m. Sometimes I would be going to bed at 1 a.m. Also, my caffeine was really bad. I always had the need to have that every single day, and not just once, but every few hours, just because my energy would get zapped out of me. So there were a lot of things that I was doing wrong, and I was like relatively then decent. I had a decent income, but I was still doing a lot of things wrong. So yeah, after that we met, and then things have just been more organized, more scheduled. My energy is just so good right now in the day to day. So that makes such a huge impact for me and my work and my longevity, because I crashed out and burnt out at least 5 times in those 7-8 weeks when I was just purely like working on my business, doing nothing else. And yeah, like I scaled, I did good, I relatively did good. I managed to hit my revenue goals, but there was just so many things I was still doing wrong, and I didn't know that until I started to work with you. So
Okay, we can unpack this a bit more about how things are today. But before we do that, your productivity and I guess your caffeine usage back then and how things were before we started working together, how was that affecting your energy, your focus, your productivity, your business before?
there just wasn't any like level of efficiency in my work. I was doing, but it was more like grunt work, like trying to like David Goggins type mentality, just push. And with that, say I feel like some sort of resistance, or like I feel some sort of less energy, I would just have more coffee and go back right in. So that was the main difference with my productivity. And again, my work wasn't really like deep focused work. It kind of was, but then there were also a lot of distractions in between. It wasn't like do this for this work block for these many minutes, then go take like a 5 minute break, reset your breath work, whatever it is, again go work again for 90 minutes. It was more like yeah, like doing just work as much as you can, but then also like see your phone in between, listen to like just lyrical music while working,
Mm.
smoking cigarettes at times while working in between, lot of bad things. So yeah, that was the main difference.
What other things did you try before joining the program?
Nothing, honestly. Just advice, like one of advice you would see on YouTube, like, oh, go touch your feet on the grass and make sure you're doing that in the mornings, and get some sun. And yeah, it was just random normal things. There was not really any planning towards anything. There wasn't really any structure, any organization to like where you're going. It was literally like just me in a boat in the middle of the ocean without any destination whatsoever.
Hmm. Okay, so if we go back like 4 or 5 months ago when we started working together in the beginning, you were at like 20. Like how much were you doing like when we started?
When we started, I was doing around 25K a month, 25 30K. Yeah,
Hmm.
I was doing around 25 30.
Okay, your energy was inconsistent. You didn't have a proper schedule. You were working and firing on 5 cups of coffee and David Goggins soundtracks playing in the background. So I guess fast forward to today, how how did the program and everything that we did impact the business and the revenue and everything in the business and your productivity?
Okay, so yeah, the revenue was decent in November, December before we started working. Then properly when we finally started working together, my business in January we did around like 55K in profit. Feb was like around 45, and then March was again like 40, and then this month we're actually scheduled to do like at least 45, 50 again. So the business has grown there, and I think the reason, if I have to like take this of whatever we are learning, whatever we are doing here, and correlate that to the business, I think the main thing would be like effective decision making, because I think the main thing is that I need the mind to be really clear, and it cannot really be foggy. And as a business owner, you have to make the right decisions, and you have to make the best decisions. You have to be able to like strategizing is really important. Also with like all the bullshit LinkedIn that was happening in the last 2 weeks, I got my LinkedIn banned for some reason, just on my peak season of hiring. I didn't sit there and I was slightly like annoyed, but I wasn't like stressed. Like there's a lot of stress management as well that comes in with this, and you need that, especially when you're like you're pretty much at war when you're doing business. So you need to be able to strategy through that. You have to be able to like make the right decisions, and then you also need to make sure that you are just the best machine possible to handle all of this, because like life is gonna throw a lot of bullshit at you. And then again, last week we also had like 55K in revenue also drop. So yeah, there are wins, but there are also losses, and that's the most sobering experience of running a business, and especially an agency. So like that's all part of the game. But when that thing happens, you want to still be so mentally like resilient, and you want to be able to handle all that stress. So being able to navigate all that, the highs and the lows, that is something that definitely the program has made an impact on.
Nice, nice to hear. So okay, I guess back when we first started working together, you wanted to like you were super obsessed with growing the business and taking it to the next level. But there, like, probably people could tell you that hey, it's a marketing problem. Hey, it's a SOP problem. It's a team problem. It's like a ton of different in the business kind of problem, and not so much your productivity. You can drink 10 cups of coffee and you'll be fine. So why invest into something that would help you perform better mentally instead of something that would help the business specifically, or hiring more, or doing more ads, or for better fulfillment in your perspective?
So honestly, like for the level that we are at right now, at least because we're not really like a big agency with a lot of employees, the number one level is always going to be you. Like you're the one who's going to either bring the business down, or you're the one who's going to bring it up. So you kind of have to hold yourself to a very high standard, and there are responsibilities as well. You're Even when you start getting employees, you're going to be the first one to clock in and the last one to clock out. So you need energy for that. And then I think especially from my situation, because of how those 2 months had gone where I scaled, but I was doing everything wrong. Like I pretty much had zero like actual energy and productivity towards my work. So I always knew that that was a problem, even when I was doing it, and I hadn't really found anyone yet before to sort of invest in that. So when I did find you, I obviously like looked you up, saw a couple of videos and newsletter, everything else with that. We scheduled a call, and then we took it from there. And I was always confident in this helping me. I always knew that this is definitely something that you have to like sort of do to get to that next level, because you don't know what you don't know until you know. And it's back to that old saying of, you can do all those like one-off things like to try to make your life better health wise, and then there everybody around you, especially in India, like they all have opinions. Okay, yeah, you should do this, you should do that instead. And they none of them actually know what to do with sleep, with food, whatever, with diet, whatever it is. But then it's also very subjective to you, right? From all the tests that we were doing, and I'm sure that for somebody else who does the same test that I'm doing, they are probably entitled to have some of those foods that will do well for their gut, but for me, probably not. You want to be in that spot where it's personalized to you, and that's very important, because there are going to be so many people around you that just have opinions, opinions, opinions. And then does that actually apply to you? Like, does that actually help you? So until you have
Hmm.
somebody who's firstly an expert at it, and then secondly who will be with you throughout that to help you with that, that is what you're looking for. So that is why I always knew I was going to do this.
Yeah, I mean it's similar as to scaling your offer or building an offer or ads or VSLs. You just look at the data. You're not going to take you probably can use somebody's opinions on best practices, like what are the market's trends right now and what are typically best practices. But when it comes to fully taking it to the next level, you can't do it without data. I want to hear what exactly, because you told me that you looked me up, you saw my newsletter, and you saw my content. But what made you decide to move forward with this specific program? What stood out to you, and you decided to move forward?
So from the content that I saw,
Yeah, from everything before joining.
I think I think the clarity towards like what exactly we were gonna do once we do launch, like once we do start working together. I think that plan was solid, because like yeah, before that I was just like, seeing all these things online, go take this cold shower and all of this, but that's like free content firstly, and secondly it's like everybody's doing that. So do you really have an edge over everybody else? In your content it was mainly like the routine, the stack routine, and then also like throughout the 8 weeks or the 12 weeks, like what are you exactly going to be doing, and how do you start off with the optimizing? Like first the tests, then we start to evaluate those tests, get on the supplements, whatever, whatever, and then do that. But then again, the fundamentals, with the sleep, the food, and the gut and everything like that, like that is, I think, just the information and just how much value there was, the free value especially. That was what made me inclined to join, because if somebody's talking about all of this for free, what did they have behind? There's definitely a lot more, right? So I was curious, and that's why I took the leap.
Nice. And talking about what we have behind, what was the most unexpected thing you gained from working with us?
Most unexpected thing, like something that I guess coming in wasn't expecting to do, but I got.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it was all pretty laid out in the beginning, like everything what to do. But then I think the best thing is just the support from you guys, because yeah, like even if things go wrong in the business, although you guys are health coaches, you guys are always there for like business consulting, and not like I guess like you probably want to be able to answer like every single aspect of that thing, like a proper business consultant for that specific problem, issue, whatever. But there's always like extra value. The one unexpected thing was definitely like how you guys helped me with my the whole scaling issue that I had earlier, and the hiring part, all of that as well. So like yeah, that wasn't expected. So that's why it was unexpected, and I appreciated that definitely.
What do you mean the hiring issue and the scaling part? What exactly helped you there?
So clarity in what to do going forward, right? What decisions to make, and how I guess you can think of the business like that. I think the main thing is that you guys are just always there to sort of help, and you're very professional with it as well. That's a level of service that not many people can do, because you have to be there and you have to like do that day in day out. So that is it. And about the issues, like it was mainly like identifying those bottlenecks in the business, how to like go about it and then fix it. So those were the we had that one call, right, and that's where we sort of like mapped that out. So yeah, that is what I was referring to.
Okay. Okay. And now fast forward to today. What I guess is how has your folks' productivity and energy been affected by everything that we've done? Fast forward to today.
So energy is definitely like up there. I used to nap also a lot. Like yeah, I would really like try not to, but yeah, sometimes I'll just give in to the napping and things like that. So because I just had to, I nowadays I don't think I have napped in like 4 months, 4 5 months. So yeah, nowadays I have that energy to go through the day. Also like split the task. So when it comes to productivity, like always like starting with the main tasks, the ones that really move the needle, all the way to the admin work. So being able to do that also like throughout the day, and then just keep doing that every single day, that feels like, yeah, like I'm moving towards a direction. I have this one goal, then I have all
Hmm.
these tasks that come under that goal to get to that destination, and then I'm going there. So that in terms of productivity, and then the focus, right? Because like focus is, I think of focus in like two ways. One is like focus in terms of where am I getting to, so then what all do I have to do, like what all strategy comes into that, and for that you need to have a focused clear mind. And then secondly, also when working, just the level of attention, the way you're able to like do the task and focus on it, that is good. And I've like definitely be able to like work consistently like for like a minimum 1 hour without like getting distracted. Because back to like my old phase where I was, in that David Goggins phase, I was doing a lot of hours, like, but then again, if I was just more efficient with that, I could have done lesser hours. And yeah, just taking like the other few hours like easier, because I was just taking like a lot of breaks in between. I was getting distracted with my phone. I was going for cigarette breaks every now and then. It was just off the place. So that way, yeah, like the focus has also improved. So pretty much everything has improved, even the exercise, everything like that, like just the clarity towards what we're really trying to optimize for when exercising. I feel like now, yeah, that's like being a true entrepreneur. So yeah, overall, like, yeah, every single aspect of it has improved.
Perfect. Great to hear. And lastly, what would you say, Rayan, to somebody who is on the fence, potentially watching this video and thinking, should I do this? Should I join? Should I not join? What would you say to them?
You don't know what you don't know until you know. So you have to always learn, and to do that, you're gonna have to like go behind these gated communities, if it has to, even if there's a price. You have to always be willing to do that, because if you can't invest in yourself, if you don't have the confidence to invest in yourself, then how the hell are you gonna do anything, right? And then again, if you want to rely on, if you think, okay, yeah, there's this there, but then I can just go on YouTube and find this and then do that, like, trust me, there are like so many small things that you have to worry about. Like, so, um, yeah, like you're gonna learn so much more about what you didn't even know existed. Sure, like you may know a few things about your sleep, and then few foods to avoid, and then that you have to take a cold shower every single morning, which by the way you don't. You Yeah, you're not really gonna have like a proper system and organized way of doing things. And yeah, you're just not, even if you're going ahead and you're learning things about like being more productive, this that, and this is just like a imaginary scale, that you're just going like 20% ahead. But if you have somebody with you throughout that process who's also there to like help you with what to do firstly, and then they're there throughout that and measuring all the progress from day one all the way till day 90, and then again till day 120, and then day 180, that is somebody you want, because they've done it with other people before. They also are going to be there every step of the way throughout the way, like it's not just a short term thing, to a long term thing. That is the most valuable thing you can have. So it's definitely worth it. If you are skeptical of investing in things like that, then you shouldn't, because you don't know what you don't know until you know.
Awesome. It's the great quote, simple but effective.
Exactly.
Cool. Cool. So, Rayan, thanks a lot for doing this with me today. I hope this was valuable and insightful to whoever is watching this. And I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thank you, Manu.